Greetings, GameCola faithful, and welcome back to more Let's Play Dragon Warrior. I'm James Pelster, and I'm once again joined by...
Alex the Jedi Jedraszczak, your Editor-in-Chief.
Nathaniel Hoover, GameCola former staff member, retired?
In-Chief.
Something.
In-Chief.
Oh,
we
I
are...
like that it cut off your name.
Yeah, we're
it just said game.
Oh, I'm glad that you have returned. All our hopes are riding on thee. Interesting.
That's my why my shoulders feel so
tempt
heavy.
not the fates.
I love that line.
Yeah.
Take care and tempt not the fates.
That's interesting.
They just don't write them like they used to.
Yeah.
Right?
But what's funny is that in order to make any progress in this game, you have to tempt the fates.
Yeah, if we weren't tempting the fates, we would just stay in this room.
Yep.
Which, to be fair, we did for like a good 20 minutes last video.
All right. So
oh man, are we gonna fight a ghost?
Let's do it.
So-
I head to the north.
All right, are we just heading to the north, or do we want to do like a sweep of the perimeter just to suss out what the rest of this part of the map looks like, even though we know what's there?
Very good idea,
Yeah.
because I don't really know this map at all. All I know is just what I've occasionally gleaned from culture osmosis.
I will say that we did actually talk to an NPC who said to head north and then follow along the coast to the west, right? To find... What was the name of the town? Gremlin or something?
Gremlin. I think that sounds about right.
It's
It's
funny
Gwaylin.
because...
The town of Gwaylin. We found her.
So there's several parts to this, which is number one, they went back and during the localization process renamed all of the towns.
Oh.
But I, for the life of me, could not tell you any of the town names, right? I know where they are. I could not tell you what any of them are.
You're right, it does
probably-
look like it's smiling.
Yeah, it has a
big
weird
toothy grin.
Yeah, it
Like the way
like
this
Cheshire
is
cat kind of, yeah.
Interesting. All right.
Okay, so now
Yeah,
you're
I think
wandering
that's
off into
about-
death.
Yeah, I feel like that's far enough.
A ghost.
Okay, a ghost! Yes!
Oh, it attacked before I was ready. Well, it is a ghost.
Oh no. Yeah.
Boogity boo. I also appreciate that there aren't outlines on the enemies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And the concept that it's on a little first person view, right? Oh, you leveled up again.
Thy response speed increases by 2. Maximum hit points increased by 7. Oh man, wonderful. Maximum magic increased by 11. Thou hast
Whoa.
learned a new spell.
Ooh, let's check out our new
have you learned
spell.
hurt?
Hurt.
Yeah.
All right, so I can heal myself or hurt myself. Excellent. It's just what I need.
Covering all the bases. What
Quick,
else
use
do you
the
need?
H spell. Which one? Flip a coin.
That's not a gamble I like. All right. I've got a decent amount of hit points still left over, but I
would heal.
So I
would
like
go ahead.
that the map is sort of naturally giving you a path here because you have this clear plains through the forest that gives you sort of a junction here to lead you in the direction of, well, we know the encounters aren't quite as heavy on the plains part, so maybe if I follow this, I'll find some place nice to be.
Yeah. Let's see if we can. Oh man, I'm so strong
Ooh, one
now.
shot in the slimes now. Moving on up.
Absolutely. All right, so follow the coastline.
Okay, so we have a cave there.
Yep, that's noted. A
Oh,
magician.
uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Increased by 4. All right.
Okay.
Now you can hurt him back
Excellent
if you want. Oh no,
move.
you don't have enough. You don't have
Ha-ha.
enough miss. Nice.
Okay. I would say that you very much lucked out, and maybe perhaps you should,
Maybe go the other way. All right.
Well, back towards...
No. Back towards civilization.
All right. Okay, a ghost. Maybe I should head back to the castle and restore my MP because now I have 16 points. That gives me 4 casts of the heal spell.
Yeah. Oh man.
Because the thing is also with this game, and with RPGs in general, but especially this one, it's not just a matter of can I make it to my destination? It's can I make it to my destination and back to the inn and back to the save point? And so, at
Oh.
this point, when I'm doing my playthrough, I'm starting to just store some numbers in my head of like, okay, I can take out a red slime in 1 hit. I can take a ghost in 3 hits. Every encounter with a magician is X number of hit points I'm probably losing. And so I start to have some of those things in my head of like, how many battles am I getting into between points A and B? How many of those battles do I think I can actually survive before I'm really starting to cut it close? And for me, I always tend to push it a little bit. Like I'll be a bit riskier in this game than I would be in some other RPGs, just because otherwise you really are stuck grinding forever.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's worth kind of metagaming it a little bit.
Yeah. I'm also curious because you mentioned that, and I hadn't even really considered it much. That is true. Is it like I actually we talked last episode about the games.
Well, what you could do? Did you heal yourself and then talk again and get yourself?
Oh, that's a
fully
good
refreshed
idea.
and MP?
Even better idea. I need to get in the habit of doing that now. Because I don't have all that kind of intuition with this game yet. I got to build all that up over the coming hours or so. But I actually recall I did play a little bit of Dragon Quest III, which I had the fan translation for of the Super Nintendo version.
Oh.
And that game I liked a fair bit, but I recall that at the various
Cast hurt.
castles.
Cast hurt.
All right, let's do it. But but not against this nice magician here. I'll face the other way.
Blast the wall that he has to look at all day.
Oh my! So you can actually just waste. You can
Yep.
actually just waste the. That's funny. All right.
Eventually, this guy's gonna run out of light.
Yeah.
He's got a limited stockpile, and we don't know it yet.
Yep.
I do notice that it costs 2 MP to cast.
Oh,
Hurt,
did you
so
save? Do we want to save?
That is well.
I feel like if you're at the castle, if you're fully healed, if you're
Yeah.
fully mipped,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it MIP, not MP,
Nipped. Yeah.
because it's more fun to say.
It's true.
Hip and MIP.
Hip and nip.
But what
Yeah.
I was gonna ask is, I know in Dragon Quest III, you would find various castles as you explored the land, and you would talk to the kings to save. Is it the same thing in this game?
No, there is
only one save point in this
Yeah.
game, and that is this
What?
game. Yeah.
This is the only place you can save?
And to that end, we probably want to get a. Do they call it a wyvern wing in this one? What
I think so. Yeah.
might want to invest in one of those before we go wander out in the world, because that'll teleport us back here.
I have not
I don't
seen
think
one
I
on
had them
sale
here,
yet.
though.
I think
Yeah.
it's at the item shop.
No, because what they had the
They had a torch, and
the
an herb.
and the scale. Yeah.
And did we get an herb? Do we have at least one herb in case the magic runs
We
out?
do not have any herbs.
Yeah. Let's go ahead.
And maybe a spare torch as well.
That's true, because there was
If
that
we want to go
cave.
into that. Yeah.
Those
Cave.
are one use. Do they last for the entire dungeon that you go into, or do you need to relight, bring multiple for one
Yeah.
journey?
Yeah. You have to bring multiple.
Oh man.
Yeah. I think-
Definitely, I have been in dungeons before where I have run out of light sources
Oh.
and needed to manually navigate my way back out.
That's-
It's difficult, but it's doable.
Oh
Yeah.
jeez.
That's why you draw a paper map, right?
Oh, good point.
You get some graph paper.
I wish I had brought up. Well, I mean, if I did do the process, because I did. I think I've said this in the Discord, is that I've played some of the early Megami Tensei and Shin Megami Tensei games on NES and Super
Yeah.
Nintendo, and those are first-person dungeon crawlers. And they have an in-game automatic map, but it doesn't indicate where chests or NPCs or any major, aside from very specific places. Like, it might tell you, hey, there's a shop here, but it doesn't tell you what kind of shop. It doesn't tell you where healing points are. It might tell you where a save point is. It might tell you where a place to fuse your demons is. But it rarely labels what I would consider some pretty important things on the map. So I used a program hashtag not sponsored, a program called Grid Cartographer, which I found really, really nice. And it's great for drawing maps for this sort of thing. And what's really cool is that it actually features integration with a lot of popular emulators. So if it detects that you're playing a game like that, it will actually do the auto mapping for you, which is kind of neat.
Oh, so here's a fun thing. Yeah. Okay. Do not cross the bridge because I don't know if there's an NPC that explains this to you. I think there is.
It might be in the manual.
That like essentially once you cross the bridge, it's like a new set of monsters, right? Yeah.
And that's something that I love about this game is that there's really clear markers of, okay, when you cross this bridge, you better be ready for a fight.
Ghost is through. His power ends.
Something that I recommend is as you're, just poking around, because there's a lot of area to explore. And hey, there we go. This is one of my favorite monsters in the game. I love this design, as simple as it is.
We're talking about a toothy grin.
Yep. So the thing I'd recommend is, especially when the encounter rate isn't terribly high, like you can cover a lot of ground before you hit a fight when you're not in the mountains, is just wander around the area a little bit to get a sense of what monsters are you actually dealing with, so you're not caught by surprise if you're like really far into the wilderness and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, I haven't seen you before, I don't know how to deal with you, oh boy, I'm almost dead, can't make it back to the town in time.
That's a good point. Am I okay to continue a little bit further to the west here, or should I stick to this general area?
I feel like... do we want to just go and look in the cave and then go back? Because I think that the magician would have been a little rough if you hadn't gotten that critical.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Is the cave a safe place to go? I'm a little bit... I don't want to just go in there and get wrecked.
I think it's small.
It's not too far beyond what you can deal with right now.
Okay, cool. Slowly get more.
And again, you've got several uses of healing, so it's just a matter of knowing when to heal strategically to stretch it out.
Yeah, it's more about
excellent move.
Yes, it's not a critical hit; it's an excellent move.
Which, again, just that little bit of polish, like that makes me feel good, even though I had no control over it whatsoever. I just pushed a button, but I felt like I pushed that button so well.
Yeah.
It's it makes me this is another thing. It's just kind of a tangent thing. I was going to say, Nathaniel, whenever you do play, wow, boy, it sure is dark in here.
Go ahead and use your torch.
Yeah, wow. Oh, well, that doesn't help very much.
I forgot.
Fortunately, it's small in here.
Can I use like multiple torches to increase? Like, can I like hold 3 or 4 torches and expand the light?
Moving? I can't remember if it's on a timer or if it's on a step count. That the torch goes out. But sort of mentally map where you're at in this place.
I'm kind of heading down. Oh, stairs.
Ooh.
Okay. So kind of went from top left down to the bottom right-ish. Vaguely.
Yeah.
Now, potentially, there are treasure chests that you miss. I am neither going to confirm nor deny. But you only measured out like the bottom L shape.
Yeah.
Of the
Sorry, you're telling a story?
I was going to say to Nathaniel, when you do play Dragon Quest VIII eventually, I recommend the PlayStation 2 version and not the 3DS version. The 3DS version has some additional content, but I don't know. I personally prefer the PS2 version because although nice, I found a chest. I have found the tablet.
Yeah, the tablet. Okay, so this is basically the end of the this dungeon that you were just in.
Oh, okay. Maybe I should look around and see if there's more stuff in here, though. It doesn't seem like there's any enemies, which is nice. I'm going to pause here on this screen before I read this just to finish what I was saying. Is that I like the 3DS version for its portability, and I think it has, since it's a cartridge now, it doesn't have the same kind of load times, which were never bad to begin with, but the screen is smaller and the resolution is smaller than the PS2. the game music is no longer the orchestral tracks that were in the PS2 version, but they're basically synthesized MIDI versions, which I feel like are just not as good. And some of the graphical effects, like the PS2 version had a really interesting dynamic lighting system, which I feel like is lost on the 3DS. And not to say that it's all about the fancy graphics, but I don't know. I feel like something is lost when going from the PS2 to the 3DS. Like the system's horsepower being less kind of meant that they had to do away with a few things. I think it was also based off of an earlier version for like smartphones or something, which could have something to do with it. But that's my personal recommendation is the PlayStation 2 version.
Okay.
So, all right. The tablet reads as follows. Does someone else want to read this?
Nathaniel, I mean, you're always excellent at this.
Oh, thank you. I'll read it. I am Erdrick, and thou art my descendant. 3 items were needed to reach the Isle of Dragons, which is south of Breckenary. I gathered these items, reached the island, and there defeated a creature of great evil. Now I have entrusted the 3 items to 3 worthy keepers. Their descendants will protect the items until thy quest leads thee to seek them out. Or until they get broke and sell them on eBay. When a new evil arises, find the 3 items, then fight!
Whoa.
Fight what?
Wow.
Just fight!
Yeah, so this, I guess, is kind of a tutorial dungeon in a sense.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
That, like...
there isn't anything else in here. That was the only thing to find in here.
Huh.
And you notice we haven't fought any monsters.
Yeah, I did notice that. I'm kind of surprised, because you would think that the prime place for monsters to appear would be in a dark dungeon.
Yeah,
And
I
that's...
forgot about that.
And so now, like we were talking about, the music here went up, pitched up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Is-
I notice it. Weird.
Which is also a good way of helping to keep your bearings,
Yeah.
Oh,
at least
God.
knowing what floor you're on.
Wow, that's such an interesting touch. I never noticed that. That's the second time that's happened.
Yeah.
That's very cool. All right, so now that's kind of an extension of our quest. We've got some more plot. Thank goodness for my predecessor to put this, to know that I would happen to just go in this cave in the middle of a desert, in the middle of a forest.
Yeah.
Now, my recommendation is meander back to the king, because anytime anything story important happens, discover a new area, whatever, go back and save, just so you don't have to go do it all over again.
Yep, I'm going to take out this ghost, and then I'm going to heal up. My hit points are looking a bit on the low side.
And do let me know if I'm backseating too much. I know you know how to play video games.
That's totally all right. It's always good to have, with a game that I don't have that sort of intuition for, the experience with, I mean, as you can see, I only have 83 experience with this game right now. So, I do appreciate, actually, these kind of reminders, because, again, I don't know the pace of this game. And so, my experience with classic games in general is still limited as a result of, just kind of growing up after a lot of them. And so I don't necessarily have the same kinds of intuitions as someone who is more experienced with how these sorts of games work.
While we're here, we can heal, recover MP, and then go save.
Man, so really just, I guess it only works for me, but I feel like there's some privilege going on here. Everyone else has to go to the inn and spend money, but I can just use magic, and then actually that didn't heal me.
Yeah, I think you can do it again. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I had the top right off. But yeah.
Yeah, it is funny that I remember realizing this. Being that I was playing this game when I was 6, that I realized it when I was 10,
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't have to go to the inn, that I could just talk to the guy that gives you your MP.
Yep. All right.
But that's one of those little things that you discover by being attentive or by experimenting a little bit, which is, one thing that I love about RPGs, adventure games, ones that reward you for thinking a little more critically and not just plowing ahead and bashing and falling back on routine all the time. Like this, to me, that doesn't read as an exploit. That reads as a bonus for people who actually thought about it and discovered it.
It's
You're
an
like, this guy's
optimization.
weird. There's something up with this guy. Let me keep talking to him.
Yeah.
And then eventually you're like, wait a second, I just noticed my MP went up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I promised I'd always call it MIPS.
Mips. It's like the rabbit from Super Mario 64. Although when I think about it, I think of the processor architecture, which is why they actually called it MIPS. It's because the architecture that the Nintendo 64 processor used was the MIPS architecture.
Oh, fun.
So that's why they called the rabbit that, because the developers were like, this could be a funny name. I have a question from my little list that I have off to the side, which I think would be interesting to hear. How much grinding is the right amount in an RPG?
Jetty, you want to start with this one?
Well, see, I was just thinking about that. Is most, like, from about the Super Nintendo, I would say they kind of balanced it really well. Where they started getting they started to get to the point where the number of battles that you would have as you go through the game naturally, right? If you were to just go straight from this town to that town and you would fight 5 fights in between those points, and then you would, go into the cave and you would fight 5 fights and then you would fight the boss. Like, they really managed to get it to the point where you should be properly leveled by the time you get to those places. That said, I do usually grind a little bit just to, make it a little easier on myself.
Give yourself an edge, yeah.
Yeah, but man, like, again, having grown up with this, I don't really mind grinding too much, right? There's something, meditative about it, perhaps. Comforting in a way, depending on the game. But something mindlessly entertaining about seeing numbers go by.
Oh, hey!
Right?
Aha!
You found the town.
I found the town.
Fortune smiles upon thee, for thou hast found the town.
I remember.
What do you think?
I think we should talk to some people first, and then we'll get back to that topic.
So I just remembered
yeah.
there was some Dragon Quest game where I don't know if it was the person on YouTube I was watching play the game, or if it was actually the text in the game itself, where whenever you uncovered an item, it would say, "What? You have found something or other." I just thought that was funny because the person I was watching they always emphasized it. What? You found the medical herb or something.
And I like when you knock open a sarcophagus in Earthbound, it's like, whoa!
Isn't there something where you open it and it goes ta-da?
Yeah.
Ness dug around in the trash can. Well, let's see. There's just plain old garbage in the trash can. All right, what do you have to say, old man? Many believe that Princess Gwaelin is hidden away in a cave. Well, I checked the nearest one. She's not there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's to get you to if you were like, I'm not gonna go in that cave. This is maybe something that make you look in that cave we saw earlier.
Yeah. Oh, that's good game design.
All right.
I've heard of one named Nestor. Dost thou know such a one? So I will.
Does he
talk
bear
about
the power?
That later. So I will discuss this at a later time. For now, we can continue on.
Short version is, if you've ever read any Nintendo Power, that should immediately set off your reference alarm.
Get the power, Nintendo Power.
Nathaniel.
Oh no! Did it again. Garin, a wandering minstrel of legendary fame, is said to have built this town.
All right, great. Now get out of my way.
What a good game.
Ah!
Oh man, yes, thank you. That's the.
Fine. We dealing tools. All right. Herb, torch, and dragon
There's
scales.
nothing else.
Still no wing of wyvern. All right.
No, sir. Thank you,
That's
thank you,
the
sir.
one.
Thank you.
We just have
Don't lock yourself in there. He'll come over and you'll never get out.
All right, what kind of weapons and armor do we have? What kind of weapons and armor dost thou have? Ooh.
So, yeah, now there is a hand axe, as well
man.
as chainmail, half plate, and a large shield.
Oh man, these are.
Do you want to supersize for an additional 50 gold?
No,
We were-
strategically, what are you thinking just looking at this list? Not even knowing what the damage values are, just extrapolating.
I mean, my first thing I would say, I'm guessing there is such a huge discrepancy between chainmail and half plate that I feel like this is something that maybe we really like. I think it's going to be good, but not worth, for example, grinding up for anywhere close to it. Same with the hand axe. I think this is almost sort of like a preview of, hey, by the time you find the next 2 or 3 towns, you'll be getting enough to be able to afford this roughly. I think I mainly want to strive for the copper sword and maybe the chainmail if I'm really feeling like splurging.
I think that, I think you're good with a copper sword, and then probably with the copper sword, you will be sped up in how many, golds per minute that you can get, to the point that you could wait for the chainmail, right?
Okay, good call. All right, what dost thou say?
Welcome to Garenham. Oh, that's funny, because it was founded by Garen. May they stay be a peaceful one.
Excellent. But am I
See,
welcome
I was close
here?
with Gremlin.
Yeah, Gremlin.
Gremlinham.
Yep.
Okay, watch this. I'm going to remember to read my line this time.
Nice.
Oh, now. It is said that the princess was kidnapped and taken eastward.
All right, taken eastward, but the sea is eastward. Or no, wait, that's west. Dang it.
Yeah,
There's a
where
sea to the
where can I
west and a
purchase
sea
a
to the
compass?
It is funny that they are trying to point you to that cave.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, 25 per night? Yeah.
Yeah, forget that.
And of
I'm
course,
going back
a
to
door
that.
that we don't have a key to.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to that magician.
Oh, I didn't even acknowledge that. That's a good point. I just kind of glossed over. I'm not used to doors being something that I need to take note of because I'm used to other games where, there's normal doors and then there's specifically marked magic doors.
Yeah.
Or, doors that need to be unlocked. Okay.
Oh, wait, we were asking a question. I answered the question, Nathaniel.
Yes, we were talking about how much grinding is the right amount of grinding in an RPG.
Yes.
Chrono Trigger is my gold standard for grinding.
Oh, magician. Uh-oh.
You got this.
All right, come on.
Yikes. Yeah, you'll be fine. If you need to heal in battle, so be it.
Spell of hurt. Oh, by
Okay,
7.
so 7. So hang on a second. Just strategizing here for a second.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, we're gonna.
Yeah,
need
obviously
to
we
heal
need to heal now. But looking at how much damage he can dish out in a single turn, if for whatever reason the turn, I forget if it's always the same turn order or if it can fluctuate.
I think.
No,
Well,
it's
they
always the
talk
same.
about my response time when I'm leveling up. So.
I think that's more like
Okay, regular
your
attack.
ability to dodge.
I'll
maybe?
be right back. The fire alarm's going off.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay. I need to heal.
And then hopefully, yeah. Okay,
I think
yeah,
you
yeah.
should be close
You're
to
good.
down.
Yeah. What? Oh, man.
Spell of hurt. Ouch.
Oof. Oh man, this guy.
This
You
guy
really
is.
lucked out that last time, right?
Yeah, man.
Okay. You got this. You got him. This is gonna be it.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Now
All
let's
right.
go back.
Yikes, let's get out of here. Okay, ghost, no problem. Oh, well,
That's
not
fine,
if
you
you
got it.
attack before I'm ready. That's rude.
Okay, so it turns out it was not my fire alarm. I heard another phantom fire alarm.
It's fine.
We just barely escaped with our lives there against that fight with the magician, but we're doing
Yeah.
okay. Those are no joke.
I was just going to blather about strategy for a moment, and that's why I was apologizing for possibly backseating before, because I'm I've never actually recorded a playthrough of a turn-based RPG before, but I love the genre, and I play a bunch. Now you're down to 0 magic, so my suggestion is go back and refill your magic save.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's my my goal right now.
But,
I do have one herb.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I know I'm not the one playing here, but I've had decades of playing this genre and haven't been able to talk about it with anybody lately. So I don't know if maybe there's a value in talking through my strategy, my mindset.
Yeah.
And, I would encourage both of you to do that too with the way you play RPGs, just to compare notes.
Yeah. Oh no, I am all for that. And honestly, I was talking earlier about how I don't really have, as much experience with classic RPGs as more of I do modern games. And of course, there's a large variety as, technical advancements have been made. The way that RPGs function has just changed. So hearing the more experience, hearing the strategies of, someone who's more familiar with this type is really valuable. I do want to note, though, my power increased by 4.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. Maximum magic and health increased by 4. That's great. Oh, man. I'm starting to feel really powerful now. So honestly,
I was starting to say... go ahead.
Go ahead. Oh, no, just that until you ran into that magician.
Yes. But now I've got 4 more power, so maybe I could take him on a little better now that my power is gone. Because previously it was going up by 1 or 2 points. Going up by 4 is significant.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any magic. I need to heal. There we go. All right. What were you going to say, Nathaniel?
Yeah, I was starting to say Chrono Trigger is my gold standard for grinding in games. Because if you beat every monster in an area, and that's a game where you can actually see the monsters before you fight them.
Yeah.
If you beat up every single one in an area and proceed, you should have exactly the right amount of leveling to get through all of the challenges with a reasonable amount of challenge. If you want to do a little bit of grinding in the forest at the start of the game, usually I'll do grinding for like 1 or 2, 3 extra levels in the forest at the very start of the game, just again to give myself that edge. And after that, it's like you can just clear out every area and you never ever need to go back and grind again.
Man,
and I love that. That for me is perfect. I think so. For me, especially in games like this one, where you can't see the monsters in advance and it's just a never-ending random supply. It is that same concept, though, of explore every corner of this area, really understand the map. Don't just beeline from A to B, but actually explore, see the coast, hit the mountains, turn around. After you've done all of that, and like I was saying earlier, after you've bought out everything that you can in the town,
the slime ran away.
Then that's a good marker of, now when you are naturally ready to move on, you are able to move on. You are leveled up enough to safely move on.
Yeah.
And I know in the case of like this town that we just found, that kind of goes out the window because it does not make sense to grind here for like 2-3 gold a pop until you have 1,000 just to buy out the 1 piece of armor, right?
Yeah.
But that's it's a little different here because there aren't that many towns in this game. Actually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Spoilers. Jeez. When we're talking about good amounts of grinding, the example that comes to mind for me of not that is the original Phantasy Star on the Master System, because boy, I played that game a little bit in high school, not on the original console, but emulating it, and that game bothered the heck out of me because I was just so frustrated by how I could do 1 battle before I needed to go back and heal. 1 battle, go back and heal until I get 2, maybe 3 level ups. Just to survive.
I am always distraught over GameCola's Worst Christmas Ever when the website went down, and it took with it several articles that had been posted that month.
Yeah.
And one that I think about regularly is Shannon Hoover's review of Phantasy Star. Yeah. Nathaniel's wife. she had written a review of Phantasy Star, and she had mentioned that she was like, yeah, take one step outside of town and step back. That's all that you do for like the first half hour of the game.
Yeah.
Do not go near the coast.
Yeah, we both of us still think about that one every once in a while. I love that article. I wish it had seen the light of day, but we looked at like Internet Archive and everything, because I don't think it was ever actually published on the website. It was just scheduled to be published.
Oh man.
I think it was. I think it's just that it was only up there for like
or like a day.
It wasn't in a backup.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, granted that like I have extra memories of it because I was the one who edited it.
Right.
I did the proofreading. But oh man, it is really a shame. It is one that I think about every once in a while.
Yeah, I would love to have seen that. There's so many like just classic stuff I need to look more into. I ran away by accident. Oops.
Oh.
No.
Well, good to know that you can run away. I can't tell you the number of games I've played where it's like they give you a run option, but it's just sort of decoration because it never works when you need it to.
Yeah, and then
the absolute worst example of this, Final Fantasy V Game Boy Advance remake.
Huh.
They warned me up and down, look, if you ever run into a critter called the Jackanapes, don't even fight it, like, it'll kill you, just run away. Everybody's like, avoid the Jackanapes, beware the Jackanapes. I'm like, okay, I don't even know where to find one, but I will ingrain this in my very soul. And then I run into a Jackanapes, and I'm like, holy cow, it's the monster that everybody warned me about that said, don't even fight this thing. So I run away. But there's no way out. So I run away. But you can't find an escape route. So I run away. So you die. Like, why did you bother putting in a run option if it's not an option?
I like the system where I know some games where like running away just automatically works and it's 100%, and then in games where it's not always a guarantee, I've found, in concept at least, I like the games where the system is the longer the battle has been going on, the greater your chances of running away, so that in the event that like you're in the middle of a long drawn out battle and you just don't think you're going to be able to eke out a victory, you are almost assured to run away safely and like recuperate. At least in theory, at least, that sounds like a good system. Now, whether or not, because obviously what we see as a percentage and what we feel is the actual percentage sometimes differs in my experience. So I also, not to cut myself off here, but I see what looks like a desert down here. Is this an area I can safely explore at this stage?
Poke around cautiously. One thing that I will say as far as keeping an eye on your health goes when you're exploring new territory, the strongest enemy that you've fought so far did 9 damage at the most. And so thinking about, thinking about worst case scenario, magician shows up out of nowhere, ambushes you, so gets the first hit in. And then maybe the magician goes before you have a chance to do. So you got 2 turns of magician potentially doing maximum damage. So if you're looking at that as maximum 18 damage before you get an option to act, that's your bare minimum. So one more than that, your bare minimum is 19 hit points. That's your threshold that anytime you hit that, you want to heal back. Unless you're really playing dangerously or just can't afford to do that. Yeah,
boy, howdy, the encounter rate on this desert is like once per, like every 2.
Basically 1,
And this here is the poison swamp.
That'll hurt. That'll hurt.
I'm guessing 1 damage per step?
I think so.
2 damage per
2.
step.
Oh. I'm not sure that I would...
Not go past there. All right.
Over here.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
Currently, your gold is 142.
Yeah.
By the time you meander back, heal, save, go back to the town, you'll probably have close to 180 to be able to afford the copper sword.
Yep. I've got a decent amount of magic left, so I can heal plenty. So I'm just trying to think about. Yeah, I think by the time I make the journey all the way from where I currently am on sort of the east coast of this, I don't know if it's a continent, like that looks more like a river than an ocean. Could be a very small ocean, I guess, but whatever separates this, it does seem to cut through almost the entire landmass. So who knows what it is?
I do appreciate that in later games, like I think is it 2 or is it 3 as well? Where I mean I know it's in 2. Is that the original game is a smaller portion of the world map that you get to go to at some point in the game.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that like they expanded the world around this continent that you are on.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's go
Suggestion
ahead.
to heal, meander back, save. Just, it costs you nothing to save, and you're going to be wandering around, leveling up, getting gold anyhow.
True.
So, might as well do it periodically.
Yeah. Here's another question from the list here. What is everybody here's favorite, specifically NES RPG?
Specifically NES, the original Final Fantasy.
Okay. Interesting.
Which I recently replayed. Very, very recently, actually. But not the NES version per se. The Final Fantasy Restored, which is a patch that uncensors everything that was changed from the Japanese version, but it's still the English translation.
Interesting.
And it is it's a retranslation, so they tried to make it more accurate to the source material, where they changed all of the spells. So apparently all of the spells that I know, the really cute, like, lit,
Yeah.
and lock and Brack and Triple X and all of those fun spells are not remotely the names that they were given in the Japanese version. The Final Fantasy games have always followed the Thundaga, Blizzara naming conventions. And they weren't translated because they only had 4 characters to work with for the spells.
Man.
And 4 characters to work with for the character names. But interestingly, they found a little bit of room on the cartridge when the people who were working on this patch did it. And so now you can name your characters up to 6 characters in length for their names. So they also found space to expand the spell names as well. So now they are consistent with the rest of Final Fantasy, which throws me off because that's not what I grew up on.
Yeah.
And the armor and weapon names as well. Monster names got retranslated.
I find it so...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I find it so interesting because I think part of it is that, with ROM hacks, now, especially since we're now working just with files on a computer, and I mean, theoretically, you can put that on a cartridge if you wanted to, but since we've put these into digital form now, and most people are going to be emulating, we don't necessarily need to abide by the hardware restrictions of the original developers. Like back then when they were developing these games, you might go, well, why didn't the original developers just give me more room to put in character names? Why did we have to keep everything short? Because obviously in Japanese you can represent more sounds with the same number of characters on screen, but
Command. Thank you.
Command. Yeah, sorry. I get so caught up in talking about things. I say as I almost talk to no one in particular in the game by accident. But now, the developer back then would have to think of, well, how much is this cartridge hardware going to cost? We could add some more space in memory. We could add more RAM. We could add more ROM. But if we were to do so, the cartridge would cost $10 extra per unit or something like that, if we were to sell this. And so it's interesting to see the kinds of changes that people can make when those sorts of restrictions are at least partially lifted.
Well, in this case, they were still working with the original hardware limitations. They didn't do anything beyond what was capable on the original system. For example, they added in optionally, and you can customize it. It's not just here, it's set in stone, this is what you get. You have some degree of control over, well, how different do you really want it? One of the things they did was introduced so the original Final Fantasy only has one battle theme. The entire game, every boss, every random encounter, one battle theme. But the later remakes, and there have been several, added in more music. There's a special final boss theme, there's a big boss theme, there's a bigger boss theme. You can handle it.
Hang on. Hurt.
Yeah, try Hurt. See what happens.
9. Oh, wow. That made a huge difference.
Nice.
Oh, he cast hurt and it
Yeah.
only hurt me by 3.
Yeah,
It's variable.
randomized. Yeah.
Nice. Two hits. Beautiful. Oh, man, I do feel strong
Is it
now.
hurt that's only 2? Maybe I'm remembering. Is it hurt that only costs 2?
Yeah, it only
Yeah, it
costs
looks
me
like
2.
it, yeah.
Okay, that's the one I was thinking of. I got one of
Yeah.
my H spells at the right time,
Yep.
right the first time. But yeah, so you have some options. So like the later Final Fantasy remakes had extra music, and someone composed an 8-bit version that would have been possible on the NES. That they, in order to fit that on the virtual cartridge, they steamroll the ship game to make room for it.
There's a ship game?
Yeah, there's a little mini game slider puzzle that you can play while you're gliding around on your boat. That's a little bit of an Easter egg.
Yeah. I forgot about that.
All right, copper
But
sword.
Select or something.
Yeah, let's do.
Then I will buy thy club for 30 gold.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
thank you, my
Forgot
good
about
man.
that. Is that okay?
So now check your status. I know we didn't look at numbers
Yeah.
before we did the exchange.
22 attack power,
attack
11
power, yeah.
defense power. Okay, and I have strength and agility here. I wonder what
Yeah.
determines my defense power. Is it also just is my strength and agility in some way used to figure that out, or I don't know.
Well, I can look it up and get actual confirmation.
Yeah.
But I'm inclined to say one's dodging, how much chance of mischance, and the other's just straight up defense, absorbing damage.
Yeah, that's my guess too. But you know what I also think? I think that this here, after just having upgraded our weapon, is a good place to take a break.
Yes.
We will see you all in the next one.